The medical bay of the interstellar vessel Horizon fell silent as Dr. Keller reviewed the results for the third time. Her hands trembled slightly as she set down the data tablet, her eyes moving between the two figures seated before her. The Valoran woman Mira sat with regal composure despite the obvious tension in her shoulders. Beside her, her daughter Lyra fidgeted with the edge of her sleeve, her violet eyes darting between the doctor and her mother. "There must be some mistake," Mira said, her voice carrying the melodic quality common to her species. "Run the tests again." Keller shook her head slowly.
The terms
"I've run them
are clear?
4 times
They
already.
are. The Alliance holds,
The results
but only
are
if you
consistent."
comply.
We will.
She paused, choosing her words carefully. "Both of you are carrying human genetic material. The same human genetic material." Lyra's breath caught audibly. Mira closed her eyes, her elegant features betraying nothing of the turmoil the doctor suspected churned beneath the surface dot the Valoran. People had never conceived with any species beyond their own in their 12,000 years of recorded history. Their biology was considered incompatible with other sentient races, a fact that had been tested and documented extensively during their first century of contact with the wider galactic community. Yet here sat 2 Valorans, mother and daughter, both inexplicably pregnant by the same human male. Commander James Drake had joined the crew of the Horizon 6 months prior as part of the Terran Integration Initiative. The program aimed to foster cooperation between Earth and the various alien civilizations that had welcomed humanity into their fold after first contact. Drake had been selected for his diplomatic skills and his scientific background. He was quiet, thoughtful, and well-liked among the crew. He had no idea that his presence on the ship had already changed everything. "Does he know?" Lyra asked quietly. "Not yet," Keller replied. "I wanted to speak with both of you first. This situation is unprecedented." Myra finally opened her eyes, fixing the doctor with a steady gaze. "How is this even possible? Every biological analysis conducted between our species showed complete reproductive incompatibility." "I don't have an answer for that yet," Keller admitted, "but I intend to find one. With your permission, I'd like to conduct more extensive genetic mapping. Whatever has occurred here, it represents a fundamental shift in our understanding of xenobiology." The door to the medical bay slid open, and Drake himself stepped through, his expression concerned. "Dr. Keller, you called for me?" The 3 women turned to face him. The color drained from Drake's face as he took in the scene before him, his mind clearly working to piece together why both Mira and Lyra would be present for a medical consultation that required his attendance. "Commander Drake, please sit down," Keller said gently. Over the next 20 minutes, Keller explained the situation with clinical precision, watching as Drake's expression shifted from confusion to disbelief to something approaching wonder. Mira remained composed throughout, though her fingers interlaced tightly in her lap. Lyra, younger and less practiced at masking her emotions, wiped at her eyes more than once. "I don't understand," Drake said finally. "Myra and we only spent one evening together. It was after the treaty signing celebration 3 months ago. We both understood it was just comfort, companionship. Nothing could come of it biologically." "And you?" Keller asked Lyra directly. The younger Valoran's cheeks flushed a deep purple. 2 months ago, after the rescue mission on Theta Station, James saved my life when the hull breached. We talked for hours afterward. One thing led to another." She glanced at her mother, shame and defiance warring in her features. "I didn't know about you and him. Neither of us spoke of it." Myra reached over and took her daughter's hand, squeezing it gently. "I should have told you. I thought it was meaningless, impossible. I never imagined." Drake ran his hands through his hair, standing abruptly and pacing to the viewport. Beyond the transparent barrier, stars streaked past as the horizon traveled through subspace. This is insane. How can I be the father to both? How can I be the father to either? The science said it couldn't happen. The science was clearly incomplete, Keller said. Commander, I need to ask you a personal question. Is there anything unusual about your genetic background? Any modifications, treatments, or anomalies that might explain this? Drake turned back to face them, his expression thoughtful. My grandfather was part of the first wave of deep space explorers. Before the Valorans made contact with Earth, his ship passed through a region of space near the Andromeda Relay. They encountered something there, some kind of energy field. Most of the crew died. The survivors, including my grandfather, underwent changes. Nothing obvious, but subtle alterations to their DNA. The medical team studied them for years, but never found anything conclusive. Keller leaned forward, her interest clearly piqued. These changes were passed down? Apparently so. I've always been in perfect health. Better than average, actually. Faster healing, stronger immune system. I assumed it was just genetic luck. Or genetic modification by an unknown force, Myra added quietly. The Andromeda Relay region is known to us. Our ancestors avoided it, called it the Catalyst Zone. Old legends spoke of it changing those who passed through, making them compatible with the universe in ways they weren't before. The implications hung heavy in the air. If Drake's modified genetics had somehow made him compatible with Valoran biology, it represented a breakthrough that could change the nature of interspecies relations across the galaxy. But more immediately, it meant the two Valoran women, mother and daughter, now faced an impossible reality together. What do you want to do? Drake asked, looking between Myra and Lyra. I need you both to know that whatever you decide, I'll support you. This wasn't planned by any of us. Lyra spoke first, her voice stronger than before. I want to keep the child. I know it's complicated. I know it's strange, but I can already feel the life growing inside me. It's part of me and part of you. That matters. Myra nodded slowly. As do I. The Valoran people have been declining in population for centuries. Our birth rates have fallen despite all efforts to reverse the trend. Perhaps this is meant to be. Perhaps the universe has provided an answer we were too blind to see. Drake returned to his seat, looking at both women with an expression of profound respect. Then we'll figure this out together. All of us. The following weeks transformed the dynamics aboard the Horizon in ways both subtle and profound. News of the pregnancies spread through the crew, despite attempts at discretion. Reactions varied from fascination to skepticism to outright celebration. The Valoran contingent aboard the ship initially responded with shock. But as the medical evidence mounted in Dr. Keller's research revealed more about the unique nature of Drake's genetics, shock gave way to cautious optimism. Mira and Lyra spent increasing amounts of time together, their relationship shifting to accommodate the strange new reality they shared. The initial awkwardness gradually evolved into something deeper, a mutual understanding forged in unprecedented circumstances. They attended medical checkups together, compared notes on the physical changes they experienced, and slowly began planning for a future neither had imagined possible. Drake found himself navigating the complex emotional terrain of being involved with both women. There was no precedent, no social script to follow. But he approached the situation with the same methodical care he brought to his scientific work, meeting with each woman individually to discuss their needs and concerns, while also fostering opportunities for all three of them to build something resembling a family unit. Dr. Keller's research progressed rapidly. She discovered that Drake's modified DNA contained sequences that could interface with Valoran reproductive cells in ways normal human DNA could not. The modifications weren't random, but appeared deliberately designed, though by what or whom remained a mystery. The energy field his grandfather had encountered had rewritten portions of the human genome to serve as a bridge between species. A biological translator that made the impossible possible. 5 months into the pregnancies, both Mira and Lyra showed clearly. Valoran gestation periods were shorter than human ones, and the hybrid nature of the developing children accelerated the process further. The medical team monitored both pregnancies closely, watching for complications that never materialized. The children grew healthy and strong, exhibiting characteristics of both their human and Valoran heritage. On a quiet evening in the observation deck, the 3 parents-to-be sat together watching a nebula drift past. Lyra rested her head on Drake's shoulder, while Myra sat on his other side, her hand resting on her swollen abdomen. "Have you thought about names?" Drake asked. "Luna," Lyra said immediately. "For a girl. It means moon in your language, doesn't it? I've always loved Earth's moon. So bright and beautiful." Myra smiled. "And if mine is a boy, I was thinking Nova, for the light that comes from cosmic fusion, bringing together elements that shouldn't mix, but create something brighter than either alone." Drake felt his throat tighten with emotion. "Those are perfect. What will we tell them?" Lyra asked. "When they're old enough to understand?" "How do we explain this?" "The truth," Myra replied firmly. "That they are the product of something unprecedented and beautiful. That their existence proves that life finds ways to flourish, even when all logic says it cannot. That they are loved beyond measure by parents who never expected them, but cannot imagine existence without them. The births came within days of each other. Lyra delivered first, a healthy girl with her mother's violet eyes and Drake's darker skin tone, creating a striking contrast. Luna cried with surprising strength, her tiny hands grasping at the air. Drake held her with trembling hands, tears streaming down his face as he marveled at the impossible life he had helped create. Mira's labor followed 2 days later. Nova emerged with a full head of dark hair and his mother's elegant features, though his eyes held the warm brown of his father. He was quieter than his half-sister, observing the world around him with what seemed like ancient wisdom. The crew of the Horizon gathered to welcome the children, the first confirmed human Valoran hybrids in known history. Messages flooded in from both Earth and Valora, requests for information, offers of support, expressions of wonder and hope. The scientific community buzzed with implications. If humans and Valorans could produce viable offspring, what other barriers between species might prove less absolute than believed? But in the quiet of the nursery that had been constructed for the children, such grand concerns faded into irrelevance. Mira and Lyra sat together, each holding a child, while Drake moved between them, his heart full to bursting. They had become a family through the most improbable of circumstances, bound together by children who should not exist but did. "They'll face challenges," Myra said softly, gazing down at Nova. "The galaxy isn't always kind to those who don't fit neatly into established categories." "Then we'll teach them to make their own categories," Drake replied. "To be proud of what they are. To see their uniqueness not as a burden, but as a gift." Lyra looked up, her eyes bright. "And they'll have each other. Luna and Nova. Half-siblings who share a father and a heritage that spans 2 worlds. They'll never be alone." Outside the nursery, the Horizon continued its journey through the stars, carrying its precious cargo toward futures unwritten and unimagined. 2 children who proved that life respected no boundaries. 2 women who chose hope over fear. 1 man whose altered genetics had become a bridge between worlds. Together, they represented something new in the galaxy's long history, proof that connection could transcend every barrier. That family could form from the most unexpected circumstances, and that love, in all its forms, remained the universe's most powerful force.